In this video, I'm going to share with you my new favorite tool for in-person depositions. If you just asked whether or not I truly said in-person depositions in today's modern legal world, yeah, you heard me correct, because apparently those sometimes are needed. Yeah, apparently there are some defense lawyers out there that prefer an in-person deposition over a Zoom deposition, which I don't really understand. And there also are some limited situations where the witness necessitates there being an in-person deposition over a Zoom deposition. For example, this is coming from my own experience. I had a defendant that I had to take her deposition, and based on her age and her potential capacity or lack thereof, I had a feeling that a Zoom deposition would not be the smartest option. I had a feeling that her technological knowledge of anything beyond dial-up internet back in 1999 wouldn't work out for an efficient deposition if it was over Zoom. So we ended up doing an in-person deposition. The downside in my mind is with an in-person deposition, you lose the ease of being able to capture a video deposition. If you're going to take a deposition that you know has the potential to be powerful if the jury were to watch it from beginning to end, make sure it's on video. That's why I love Zoom depositions, because I can have this like multi-camera setup and then create a video for the jury to watch, and they can have a multi-camera setup that they're enjoying so that it's switching angles and it's keeping that attention from the jury so that they stay engaged and they're listening to everything. In-person depositions, they bring a little bit of a twist and a difficulty in getting a video deposition, because I've said video deposition way too many times. But with in-person, to have a multi-camera setup, you're usually going to need multiple cameras, one on the defense lawyer, one on the plaintiff lawyer, one on the actual witness, defendant, whoever, and maybe more. And I like balling on a budget. That is the mantra of Law Venture. And I didn't want to buy multiple cameras in order to pack them in my bag, travel to another city, and then set it all up in order to take a defendant's deposition. That was the last thing I wanted to do. So then started thinking, okay, maybe I just hire a company to come out. They'll come out with their big setup and they'll, make sure that there's a backdrop behind the witness. But I've actually never seen the company come out with a multi-camera setup. And if they were to do that, the setup that they typically have, it just is impractical for like a small office space when you're actually considering the fact that there is a court reporter, maybe other lawyers in the case, associates, assistants, whoever. And so it's like, I need something small, compact, but also gives me that ability to have the video deposition with multiple angles, to have a product that I give to a jury that keeps them engaged. It means nothing to me if I have an amazing deposition, get absolute gold from that deposition, and I can't show it to a jury in an effective manner. So, what is one to do? What is the solution? And the solution is linked down below. It's the new IPEVO, well, I say new, relatively, IPEVO conference camera. Let me make sure I can read this correctly. It's the 360 degrees immersive conference camera plus speakerphone. I don't know if you can see this or not. There we go. This isn't a sponsored post. IPEVO, while they sent me their document camera, which that video is linked above, this is Mark Lanier's secret weapon at trial and in the courtroom. They did not send me the conference 360. I think it's called the Totem. It's all coming back to me. The 360 Totem camera. I bought this bad boy on Amazon. Again, link in the description down below. It's not cheap, but at the same time, you can get multi-camera with only one thing, because as you can see here, there are 4 cameras and somehow built-in AI, because apparently everything has AI these days, that captures everything around this 360 Totem IPEVO camera. It's just a mouthful, by the way, IPEVO. If you're watching this, maybe let's like condense those names. Let's simplify the names a little bit. So with this conference camera, what it does, or what it comes with is one USB-C to USB-C connection, and then you also have your power adapter as well. So this isn't operated by battery like the IPEVO document camera that was sliding above. This has to have a power source. Speaking of power, I needed a little bit of power myself. Okay, so like I said, there's your power adapter with the cord. It's not super long, and what I always do is bring like a 6-foot extension power cord as well, so that with this plus the other 6 feet that I have, it's a lot. 6 feet may be an over exaggeration, but there's a lot of margin of error when it's all combined, and I recommend having some type of extension cord that you can use, because the last thing you want is to carry the IPEVO around, which is really light. I mean, it's tall and it's going to take up a little bit of space, but it's really light. But you still don't want to carry this around and not be able to use it when you show up, because that's just not a good look. Once the power is connected, it's on, you place it where you think is going to be optimally in the center, preferably closer to the witness or the deponent in this situation. But you're also going to want to hook in your USB-C to USB-C. So USB-C goes here on the back of the IPEVO, which you're then going to connect into, in my situation, a MacBook Air. And from that point on, you're just firing up your MacBook Air and you're going to record the conference camera. Now, to show you how to do that, because I know some of y'all may struggle with technology, I'm going to hop into my MacBook Air. We're going to screen share, and you're going to see exactly step by step how I've been recording my depositions with that multi-camera effect using one IPEVO conference camera. Okay, first things first, never do what I'm doing where the light is brighter behind you than it is in front of you when you're recording a video, because it doesn't look good. But for just knocking this out real quick, I'm making an exception here. So in front of me is the totem that just fell over. And what I have up and running is QuickTime. Now, you can use other recording programs. For example, you could use Zoom. You could open up Zoom and just have like a one-person Zoom meeting where the only camera in the one-person Zoom meeting, keep in mind that you're the one person, is going to be the IPEVO totem. And in that situation, you just record the Zoom meeting even though there's nobody else there, and you just take that recording and rock with it. The recording in a Zoom meeting is actually probably gonna have a smaller video file than what you're gonna get with QuickTime. QuickTime, you're probably gonna get a higher quality screen record or record from QuickTime, but that also is gonna take up more space. So figure out what your situation is going to be. Now, what you are gonna wanna do in QuickTime, if you have a Mac, if you have a PC, you're gonna have to figure out what's gonna be more conducive to the PC setup. So you just go to File and you're gonna click on New Movie Recording. I've already clicked on it. This is why you can see me here. You're in my iMac camera. And I've actually never used the IPEVO totem on the iMac before, but it immediately recognized it. I didn't have to download any software, anything. And what you do is you click here and you're gonna wanna change your camera to the Totem 360, and you're gonna wanna change your microphone to the microphone for Totem 360. We're not doing that now with the microphone because that's how you can hear me, but let's just do it with the Totem real quick. Okay, so here we go. I have to kind of angle the Totem because it's not optimal for being able to see me, but right now I'm looking at you through the Totem and you can see the 360 setup here. So that's all you need to do. And then just click record. And once you start recording, then everything that's going on through the camera and then through the audio, keeping in mind, again, your audio setup is going to be different than what I'm doing right now because I'm using my microphone so you can hear me. But you're going to click, I'm screen recording now. Let's see if I can like double record. Oh, that's kind of cool. So I'm screen recording, but I'm also doing a double record. So right now, this would be the deposition recording. Everything here, right? So if I'm a deponent, I'm just like, yes, no, yes, no. Then everything audio-wise is going into this, and all video is also going into this. And let's see if we can stay here. Okay, so all that to say, QuickTime makes it super easy. Okay, that's how easy it is to go back and forth in QuickTime. Just did it in front of you. Hopefully you can still hear me. But this record feature is how I get my depositions now using the IPEVO totem. Super simple. Just keep it up and running. Make sure that you're not closing your laptop during the middle of the deposition. And if you still need to take notes on your laptop, you can. Just don't mess with the video that's recording in the background. Here's a real world example of me filming a deposition with the IPEVO totem conference camera. Starting at the very top left, you can see me. I'm a little bored. I'm definitely just trying to get through this deposition with my sanity. And then on the right of me is a defense lawyer. On the right of him, in the green box popping up right now, is a witness in a case. And then on the right of the witness is, I think, maybe an associate or an intern for the defense lawyer. The beauty of the AI that's built into the IPEVO totem is that it identifies who the speaker is. As you can see, this green box is going back and forth because the IPEVO totem is recognizing, okay, this person is going to be the feature and this is who we're going to emphasize. And then it cuts back if somebody else starts talking on who's going to be emphasized on the video. Another important thing to mention is that if somebody, let's say, doesn't make any sound, any noise whatsoever, they may not show up on the gallery, but at some point, if they do speak up, the totem will recognize them, put them in the gallery, and then if they stop speaking for an extended period of time, they are removed from the gallery from essentially the MySpace top 8, and then they're put back on as soon as they start speaking again. This is the power of having that AI built into the conference camera. Now, at the same time, the real beauty from a lawyer's perspective, for my purpose of having this conference camera, is to be able to have a video like this that I can show to a jury. The jury is going to want to have this entertaining product, and because the video is high quality, I can punch in the footage so that it's more zoomed in on one particular speaker and then punch out as needed. And that allows it to feel like there's multiple cameras when in reality it's just the conference totem by IPEVO. One more thing to mention that I haven't mentioned yet is the fact that having a camera that's recording everything 360 degrees plus the audio is pretty fantastic because it makes sure everyone's on their best behavior. There are times where some people, they take advantage of depositions not being in front of a jury and they get a little extra spicy than what they probably should. But having everything filmed, recorded, helps make sure everyone's on that A+ behavior. Let's talk about the audio quality you're gonna get with the IPEVO totem. And in doing so, let's use this example. That's probably the most extreme example that I have of an in-person deposition that I recorded with the IPEVO totem. Here we have a very long conference table. At one end of the table, we have plaintiff lawyer Eunice Moore asking questions to a deponent who's at the other end of the table. Listen to the audio quality to see if this is something that you can use at trial.
Could have come from was her vehicle traveling in what we call in the community no man's land. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do we call that area that Mr. Miller identified as a gore no man's land?
Because they're not supposed to cross over that area in the flow of traffic. So just pretend like it's a median kind of thing there. It's not a lane.
I'm expecting there to be 2 resistance points with the IPEVO Totem 360 conference speakerphone AI camera. This thing. I'm expecting there to be 2 resistance points. One is the price. You may see this on Amazon and figure the price is pretty steep. Here's my thought on that. With the price, you're buying something that you're going to use over and over again for in-person depositions, and it's going to pay for itself. And that is, like, the price in my mind, it didn't matter to me because I saw the value of what I'd be getting out of it. So the price in my mind was irrelevant, but I know that sounds very privileged. It's just when you think about using it and the value you can get showing multi-camera video to a jury, or at least having the other side know that there could be this hard-hitting video that the jury watches, it'll pay for itself. So price aside, I would say there's maybe one more resistance point that most people, they're going to have, excuse me, as I'm reaching. That's going to be the fact that they're going to see this and think, I don't want to lug this thing around. Like, do I really have to travel with this? Here's the deal. It's light. It is not heavy by any means, but it's also, I mean, there's some size to it, right? You're probably looking at this like, Jared, it is the size of your head and your head's not small. I hear you. Trust me, I hear you. So what I've been doing in order to make sure I can transport this thing safely, plus power, plus USB-C, plus my MacBook Air, plus power for my MacBook Air, is I've been using a relatively cheap camera bag from Amazon. And what you can do with camera bags is you can set up the dividers in here however you want, because it's all Velcroed in. And in the middle of the camera bag, I just Velcro in this IPEVO, so it's nice and protected by the dividers. It's not being thrown around within my backpack, and it's going to keep the investment nice and safe. And frankly, because it's not a heavy weighted bag with just this IPEVO and a MacBook Air and some cords, it's easy to transport. I've traveled to other cities with this entire setup, no issue. My bag's doing fine, and I'm not over like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So that being said, if that is your concern, look into a camera bag. I'll link a camera bag down below for your consideration. That's all I got, guys. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, or if you just want to say hi, leave that in the comment section down below. Also, if you're still watching this video, I appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the like button. Getting a little rusty since I haven't posted a video in a minute. And don't forget to subscribe as well. With all that said, I'll see you in the next one.